Ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon and warm welcome to Olainfarm Investor Webinar. Our hosts for today are Jānis Buks, Chairman of the Management Board, and Jānis Leimanis, Member of the Management Board. As always, we will start the webinar with company's presentation, after which we will proceed with questions and answers session. Please type your questions in the questions box, which can be found in the settings panel zone on the right side of your screen. I would now like to turn the conference over to speakers who will proceed with the presentation.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Jānis Buks, and I'm newly appointed Chairman of the Management Board of Olainfarm. In today's webinar, my first presentation will be about the group operations in the first half of 2021. So, what I would like to say is that the first half of this year was very intensive, but at the same time, very successful time of business for the company. So very positive financial results in 6 months, and key ratios are hitting budgeted figures. More detailed presentation about budgeted figures will come from my colleague Jānis Leimanis. The Olainfarm Group continues to successfully provide supplies of goods in all operating markets. Overall, pharmaceutical markets in CIS region continue to struggle. What we have noticed that, for example, Belarus market, because of political reasons and currency is a bit struggling, but that is compensated with very good developments in other markets. Extraordinary general meetings of shareholders were held on June 17 and June 18. Also about outcomes of these two meetings I will tell a bit later. And new Supervisory Council was elected on June 17. Also changes in the Management Board and election of new Chairman of the Management Board was done during this time period. What was very good development was that dividends were paid on 12th of July, and in total amount of almost 4 million euros, or 17 euro cents per share. Group companies have received Latvian government financial aid in amount of 183,000 euros. It was due to COVID, and what was quite a bit negative is that because of COVID-19 restrictions influenced possibilities of the group to realize planned investments. Main business factors are that sorry, yeah, oops. Olainfarm products have shown strong demand due to good product mix and brand recognition and renewed market strategy. Business model restructuring in key markets are yielding remarkably good performance in Ukraine, Russia, and Kazakhstan. And devaluation of currencies in key markets was much milder than a year ago. And what is also very important to inform you that starting from this year, we started hedging of Russian ruble, what makes much more stable situation for the company. Now I give a floor to Jānis Leimanis to inform about financial performance in first half.
Hello to everybody. I will introduce you to main financial indicators and financial results of Olainfarm Group consolidated for the first 6 months of 2021. As you can see, then from sales perspective, we do have very similar results to what we had in year 2020. In this case, sales in 2021, I would say, are more stable in comparison to the previous year, as in June 2020 we had an extraordinary sales in amount of around 9 million euros, being more rather Q3 sales to Russian market. This period we managed to increase our sales level in whole markets gradually, and because of that, the result for 2021, we do feel much more comfortable about the numbers and about the sales and sales growth. The same reason for EBITDA being less than in 2020, those 9 million extra sales in previous year generated extra EBITDA for us. Due to this extraordinary income, we had a big net profit in year 2020. Another reason for profit not being so high as it was previous year is additional bad debt provisioning, which we created in second quarter this year, and as well to increase sales, we had additional we incurred additional marketing costs, and that is the reason why our EBITDA and net profit is not as high as it was previous year. About sales by quarters, as I mentioned, then you can see that in year 2020, sales in third quarter were significantly less than in second quarter. This year it will not be the case. We had quite a good month, July, with quite good financial result as well, and that's our belief that in this year, in a Q3 and Q4, our results will continue to be stable. About sales by segments, as it was before, sales of medicine production is position number 1 in a group company sales. Second biggest segment, that is retail, 13.4 million, increase 3%. Retail sales, those are sales generated by our subsidiary Latvijas Apteeka. Third biggest segment in sales, that's compression materials. Compression materials, those are sales of our subsidiaries Tonus, Elast, and Elast Medical. About main markets for the group, for first 6 months, Latvia became biggest market for Olainfarm group. We had around 30% of whole sales generated in Latvia. That's mainly due to our subsidiary Latvijas Apteekas results. This second position is for Russia. Russian sales in first half of this year declined in comparison to sales what were generated in the previous year in comparison, but again the same reason, it's because of extra sales in 2020. Third largest market for 6 months this year was still Belarus, but starting from July, fourth position is for Ukraine. We do have quite significant sales increase in Ukraine starting from second quarter, and we are looking forward for very good results for third and fourth quarter as well. If we are talking about our biggest group products, it's medicine. So the composition of product groups stays very similar to what was first half of 2020. Around 50% of wholesales relates to medicine for nervous system, three medicines, and all other groups are keeping approximately the same market share in total sales as it was last year. Some comments about net profit. Net profit, which reasons for decrease in net profit in comparison to year 2020. We do have a lower gross margin this first half year. One of the reasons being as well that we had some cost reallocation between administrative costs and production costs, shifting some of the administrative costs into the production costs. That's the reason for 2.2 million decrease in gross profit margin. As we mentioned earlier, we do have more active business operations in our subsidiaries in Russia and in Ukraine. We want to increase our market share in these markets, and to sell more, we need more to have more marketing and sales expenses in these markets. I think the increase in sales will follow the expenses. About financial stability of the company, we do feel very comfortable. Our cash balance at the end of 6 months was 25.9 million euros. We do have very good debt service coverage ratio and debt to EBITDA ratios. In the first half year, we early repaid 2 million euro loan principal in one of the banks, and at the end of the August of this month, we repaid the outstanding balance in amount of around 7 million euros to Blue Orange Bank. Right now, we are absolutely debt-free company. Thank you for attention.
Yeah, as promised, I'm coming back. Jānis Buks. So main events during the first half of 2021. So we had 2 extraordinary general meetings during this time, one day after another. So 17th of June, when new Supervisory Council was elected, new Audit Committee was elected, and also the shareholders meeting revised the remuneration policy for the council and the management board, so it was approved. Following day, on June 18th, annual report for 2020 was approved, and also payment of dividends was approved in amount, what I mentioned already before, in amount of 0.17 per share. The following Supervisory Council members were elected for the term of 5 years. So it is, as a chairman was elected Dr. Juris Bundulis, so as a deputy Sandis Petrovic and Irina Maligina, and also Mr. Andrejs Leibovic and Peteris Rubenis. So the total monthly remuneration of the members of the council was approved in the amount of 21,000 euros. And as Well, audit committee members were elected for the term of 2 years, and as members of audit committee were elected Viesturs Gurtlaus, Sandis Petrovic, and Arnis Gulbis. Total monthly remuneration for these 3 audit committee members was approved in amount of 11.5 thousand euros. As well, changes in the management board have taken place. So starting from the July 30, me, Jānis Buks, was approved as the chairman of the management board, and in June, Mr. Jānis Leimanis was elected as CFO of the company. Other 3 management board members stayed as they were before. So about mandatory share buyback offer from July 19th to 17th of August, joint stock company AB City conducted mandatory share buyback offer. In total, 2.4 million of shares worth 17.23% were acquired. So AB City increased its share in voting rights from 30.85% to 48.08%. So now please question and answer session.
Thank you for the presentation. Now we will proceed with the questions. But before, kind reminder to those who haven't yet submitted their questions, you can still do it in the questions section in the settings panel zone. So let's start with the first question, which was received before the webinar. The group's business strategy forward highlights the main company's vision to become one of the top 10 Central and Eastern European manufacturing companies by 2025. What in regards to this goal has already been done, and what are the plans in close future?
Yes, we are intensively working on our strategy forward, and what we are at the moment doing it is deeply analyzing new markets, which is one part of the strategy, as well as how to prepare our existing products for these new markets. So this is actually what is, and we are in the process of preparing of documentation for this, for entering in these new markets. So, and this is what mainly where we are at the moment. So
thank you. Question received from the audience: why did the previous CEO of the company, Jeroen Veites, leave?
It is probably the better the question could answer Mr. Veites, not us, but I, as far as I know, these are deeply personal reasons why did he leave.
Thank you. All questions are answered. Recording of the webinar will be available in the Nasdaq Baltic YouTube channel and in company's announcements. Gentlemen, thank you for the presentation and for answers given. Participants, thank you for joining. We have received one more question. So in the beginning of 2021, the management gave revenue guidance of 140 million and bottom line of 8.6 million. Any guidance upgrade?
Yes, I will try to answer this question. We are looking to reach our budgeted goals by the end of this year, both in net sales and in net profit. Thanks.
Thank you. So once more, a reminder that the recording of the webinar will be available in the Nasdaq Baltic YouTube channel and in company's announcements. Thank you, presenters and participants, for participating, and until the next